But prior to us getting there, there was a Green Beret that was drugged by a FARC prostitute, and he went to a bar, thought he was gonna get lucky with this girl, and she drugged him, put like roofies in his drink, and then he woke up in his hotel room, and the guy, I don't know why, but he had like uh like I guess we call it sipper laptops, like a top secret laptop basically with information
Mm-hmm.
that got stolen, and he had money stolen out of his hotel room. And so the whole time we were we were allowed to go out in town, but we were always like looking behind us because like if that happened, they were probably like
Targeting.
stalking him prior to that happening. So we were always kind of on edge. So it wasn't a combat deployment, but I didn't feel safe there. I mean, and we were staying in a hotel like out in town,
Yep.
and so like I never felt safe there. But then we ripped over to Baghdad. We were supposed to do uh, basically like acting like the Secret Service for the new Iraqi regime. So they had prior to us getting there, they had a big elections. They had a new regime there, but some of the insurgents and loyalists to part of the Ba'ath Party that were loyal to Saddam didn't want them in there, and so we were basically acting as a Secret Service. But by the time I got there, they had turned it over to the Iraqis. So the Iraqis were acting as the Secret Service. So we had like a 2 week period where we're basically doing nothing. But then started doing sniper missions. So that kind of wound up being awesome because I was now a quote unquote sniper in my first deployment, and that was wild because this is downtown Baghdad, extremely urban. So you're not doing any kind of rural sniper hide. You're not putting on ghillie suits and any of that. You have to like so our only option was to go into people's houses.
Mm, kicking doors.
Yeah. So what we would do is we put army uniforms on because the army and Marines were already doing presence patrols all around the area anyway, in Humvees, uh, Abram tanks, and all that. And so days prior to us doing sniper missions, we'd figure out where all the bad IED areas are at, working with intel folks, come up with a plan, and then start going the presence patrols and just start filming, secretly filming around neighborhoods, and then try to find different houses. And then we use satellite imagery to figure out, okay, that house looks good. Can we actually see the vantage point of where we need to go? So we do that days prior, and then 1 a.m. in the morning, we would just literally break into people's houses. We'd have an interpreter. It's very bizarre, but they would knock on the door because I guess maybe it's a Fourth Amendment thing. I don't know. We couldn't just break into the house because some of the families are actually nice families. Some of them, yeah, as you know, like Iraq, a lot of Iraqis hated Saddam, so some of them were happy we were there. And some of them were Christian, so they definitely liked us. But we would knock on the door, and the interpreter would tell them like, "Hey, we're taking over your house." So we'd have the interpreter do that, and then I guess there was maybe six of us, one sniper, and then other SEALs go into the house and just take over the house and hold the family hostage, and then make a sniper hide upstairs and just overlook the whole area
Hmm.
for 24 hours and wait for someone to plant an IED. Um, my sniper hide, we never saw anyone plant an IED. Um, no, well, we did. We had one, but it was down the road, but we couldn't make the shot, so we called in EOD, and they dealt with it. But some of the other sniper hides, they killed a few folks, but I never got any shots off while in the sniper hide. But that was the most heavily IED area in all of Iraq, and once we were there, it just stopped abruptly. Part of it was us doing our work. I think the word got out, but also the army put up signs saying that there was special forces or snipers in the area, and so they stopped. Um, but that was bizarre because with some of the families were Muslim, and I think even the Christian ones, I think it's part of like Arab culture. Even if like you're the enemy, they still serve you. So we would sit there with like a sniper rifle all set up in a sniper hide, and you'd have families giving you tea and
Yeah.
cookies, and it was like bizarre thing. I'm sitting here like literally on a couch like this
It's
sometimes.
like,
Some of the houses with my gun set up, maybe whatever they had, maybe I don't know, a box, whatever they had, and just sitting there overlooking it, drinking tea, like waiting for someone to plant an IED.
that's crazy.
It was bizarre.
Very surreal. Very surreal.
Yeah. Uh, talking about it, seems like a movie. At the time, it kind of felt normal. It felt like I was destined to be a Navy SEAL and all that. So at the time, but now that it does feel bizarre thinking about it.
In your time, in your time in the SEALs and deployments, do you cross path with your half brother, Mike?
No, he was at Team 4, so we were actually in opposite schedules. But when I first moved there to Virginia Beach from Fort Bragg, I lived at their house for a year. So I was living with my brother for a year. He wasn't home very much, and neither was I. But that's when. So we didn't grow up together.